Hello, my name is Chantae and I'll be discussing early adulthood to middle adulthood. First, I'm going to start with early adulthood. Early adulthood is split between physical and cognitive development and social emotional development. I'm going to start with physical and cognitive development first. Number one, transitioning from adolescence to adulthood. During this phase, a person is transitioning from adolescence to early adulthood. This is commonly known as emergent adulthood, which takes place between about 18 years to 25 years of age. They tend to be more focused on experimentation and exploration. Jeffrey Arnott concluded in 2006 that there are 5 key features. 1, identity exploration, especially in love and work. 2, instability. 3, self-focused, which is they have little in their way of obligations, duties, and commitments, which leaves them with a lot of autonomy for running their own lives. 4, feeling in between, which is not really feeling like an adolescent anymore or like a full-blown adult. You're kind of stuck in the middle. 5, the age of possibilities, which is the time when a person can be optimistic about their life and their future or what lies ahead, or their life is going down the wrong path and they're trying to steer it into a more positive direction. They're working on maturing themselves and they can use the Allen's way towards maturity. They're transitioning from high school to college. College students are becoming more stressed, are reporting feeling mentally exhausted more often and depressed than in past years. Physical development, number 2. Most reach their peak of physical performance before the age of 30, but often it's between 19 through 26, depending on your person. This is different for athletes as well, and for the specific sport that they may play, like tennis, soccer, football, etc. Even though we reach our peak in physical performance during this developmental stage, we also reach our decline. Emergent adults have more than twice the mortality rate of adolescents. However, we have few chronic health problems such as colds, respiratory issues. Obesity is a big problem for this developmental age. A survey found that 29.5% of adults in the U.S. are between 20 to 39 years old and are overweight, and 31.5% were obese. This can be hereditary, meaning that they have the tendency to pick up things from the people around them for overweight. And environmental factors is when the availability of food, like McDonald's is cheaper than wanting to go to a store and get a salad or things like that. There are social cultural factors involved with this health issue, and it's 6 times more common for women in low income situations than women in high income. Some adults are resorting to dietary programs to help with weight loss. Some are just going into regular exercising, 30 minutes a day, swimming, jogging, etc. And some are going to weight loss surgery. Substance abuse, binge drinking, is more common for men, especially for those in fraternities, but it's mostly for men in college in general. 2014, 35% of U.S. college students reported having 5 or more drinks in one setting. Alcoholism, which is repetitive, long-term, uncontrolled, and excessive use of alcohol beverages, which impairs the individual's personal and professional life. 1 in 9 individuals who drink become an alcoholic, which means 50 to 60% of individuals who become alcoholics are believed to have a genetic predisposition for it. Cigarette smoking and nicotine. More than 50 million Americans still smoke cigarettes today. Even though fewer people smoke now than in the past, cigarette smoking accounts for about 450,000 deaths in the U.S. Recently, there has been an increase in e-cigarettes, vapes. In 2014, 10% of college students and young adults use these because of experimentation. Most adults quit their substance abuse, especially smokers, but for some, their addiction to it makes it an even huger challenge. Number 3, sexuality. During early adulthood, most individuals are sexually active and become married. Men are always ready for sex. They use a physical approach and they initiate sex, while females are known to have an emotional approach towards sex and are known as gatekeepers who set the sexual limits. Single women who seem to engage in sexual acts are judged negatively, even though men can be viewed in a negative way. Most times they are rewarded, especially for having multiple partners. STIs are becoming common through sexual acts. The most prevalent are bacterial infections like gonorrhea and ones caused by viruses, genital herpes, warts, HIV. In 2004, globally, 37 million individuals were living with HIV. Sexual harassment or rape can be done to men by women, but to a far lesser extent. It's most commonly done to women by men. Number 4, cognitive development. Young adults move into a qualitatively higher stage called post-formal, which is more reflective, relativistic, and contextual. Creativity peaks here and then declined. Researcher C proposed that the first step towards a creative life is to cultivate it with curiosity and interest. Number 5, career. Changes, purpose, and impact. They're starting to get more serious about their career thinking, but most times they are focused on short-term goals that they don't go big for, which are long-term. A lot of jobs are requiring a college student to a college education, especially the big ones. Work is a key factor in defining a person's unemployment, and is really stressful for those within this age limit if they are unemployed. Workplaces are seeing more diversity during this time as well. These are some pictorial examples of the different things discussed in physical and cognitive development for early adulthood. Socio-emotional development. Number 1, stability and change from childhood to adulthood, temperament and attachment. There are 3 styles of attachment, which are secure attachment. An individual has positive views on relationship and is easy to get close to others. The second one is avoidant attachment. The individual is hesitant about getting involved in romantic relationships. The last one is anxious attachment. The individual demands closeness and are less trustful and more emotional and jealous. Leading experts Mario Michelunzier and Philip Shaver reached the following conclusion that the benefits of secure attachment, because it allows for an individual to be well integrated in terms of having good self-acceptance, self-esteem, and self-efficacy. Number 2, attraction, love, and close relationships. First impressions are important, and numerous studies show that immediate impressions can be accurate. Consensual validation explains why individuals are attracted to those who are similar to them. Matching hypothesis states that although we prefer a more attractive person in abstract, in the real world we end up choosing someone who's at the same attraction level as we are. Erickson's theory of adolescence, identity versus identity confusion, relates to middle adulthood stage, generativity versus stagnation, because of the precursor to intimacy and romantic relationships during emerging adulthood. Romantic love is passionate, has strong sexual infatuation and components. Affectionate love is compassionate, desires for the other person to be near, and has a deep caring affection for the other person. Consummate love is a triangle mix of all 3 of the loves. It's based on passion, intimacy, and commitment. And that was presented by Sternberg. Falling out of love can be traumatic for some, but happiness for others. Number 3, adult lifestyle, single, cohabiting, married, divorced, LGBTQ+. There are different styles, but one that stuck out to me was remarried, because their families are less stable than a first marriage, and men do so sooner than women. Marriage and family. Gottman explains how happily married couples establish nurture, fondness, and admiration. Divorce is identified in ways can be taken show that 20% became better adjusted and more completed. Families become smaller when you start your own family. And these are some visual examples of social emotional part of early adulthood. Moving into middle adulthood. For some people, this is a foggy period that allows them to think about and discover where they're running from or to and why. They compare their lives with what they vowed to make it. There's more time behind them than ahead of them, they feel like. For physical and cognitive development for middle adulthood, the first period, which is nature changing and defining, the period takes place at about 40 to 45 years of age and extends to about 60 to 65 years of age. Margie Lackman and her colleagues in 2005 described middle age as a pivotal period because it is a time of balancing growth and decline. Number 2, physical development, health, morality, and sexuality. Noticeable signs of aging begins around 40s to 50 years of age. The skin wrinkles, sags, and because of loss of fat and collagen in our underlying tissue. Because in our society, a more youthful look is valued in different cultures, this pushes people to cosmetic surgery, dyeing their hair, buying wigs, and more. You lose about an inch in height and gain weight. Obesity increases in this period in a recent U.S. survey, 2011 through 2012. 39.5% of U.S. adults 40 through 59 years of age were classified as obese. Sarcopenia, which is muscle and strength loss, occurs at a rate of 1 to 2% each year. Bone loss also increases with age. Menopause occurs between the late 40s through 50s. It marks the end of childbearing. Men do not experience the inability to father children in middle age, but their testosterone levels decline. A male menopause, like the dramatic decline in estrogen in women, does not occur. There is still a strong interest in sex within this age group. Number 3, cognitive development, which is based on intelligence. John Horn argued that crystallized intelligence, which is an accumulate info and verbal skills, continues to increase in middle age to adulthood. However, fluid intelligence, which is the ability to reason abstractly, is declining. Sacchi and Willis found that longitudinal assessments of intellectual abilities are less likely than cross-sectional assessments to find declines in middle adulthood and are more likely to find improvements. The speed of information processing, often assessed through reaction time, continues to decline in middle adulthood, along with memory. Number 4, careers, work, and leisure. This is usually a time for reflection, evaluation, and assessment, realizing that they have progress limitations, planning retirement and leisure time, which is historically a male transition, but is now becoming a more his and her thing. Number 5, religion, spirituality, and meaning in life. Women show a stronger interest in religion than men do. Frankel argued that examining the finiteness of our existence leads to exploration and meaning of life. Baumeister and Vowles argues that the quest for a meaningful life involves fulfilling 4 main needs: purpose, values, efficacy, and self-worth. efficacy. And these are some visual examples of physical and cognitive development with middle adulthood. Social emotional development for middle adulthood. Number 1, personality theories and adult development. Erickson's stage of generativity and stagnation. Generativity encompasses adults' desire to leave legacies in themselves to the next generation, and through these legacies, adults achieve a kind of immorality. Stagnation, also known as self-absorption, develops when individuals sense that they have done nothing for the next generation. Generativity can occur through parenting, teaching, leading, and doing things that benefit the community. Contemporary life events approach. Women are more vulnerable to social stressors, such as those involving romance, family, and work. Men face stress, but they respond to it in a fight or flight manner, being aggressive or withdrawing from social contact, and can lead to drinking in some scenarios. Women use a more tend and befriend manner, seeking social alliances with others, especially female friends. Number 2, stability and change. And these include the big 5 factors of personality, which are openness, consciousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and emotional stability. George Valentis' research revealed links between a number of characteristics of age 50 and health and well-being at 75 to 80 years of age. Number 3, close relationships, which includes love, grandparenting relationships, emptiness refilling. Security, loyalty, and mutual emotional interest become more important as relationships mature, especially in middle adulthood. Marital satisfaction increases. Some that were rocky in early adulthood improve in this stage. Divorce is more positive because their children are adults and may be able to cope with it better. The empty nest syndrome is less satisfaction when children leave home. Sibling relationships and friendships are close, and some may be rivalrous. Grandmothers have more contact and involvement with their grandchildren than their grandfather. Men see grandparenting as less of a responsibility. They see it as more voluntary. Family members usually maintain contact across generations. The middle age generation plays as the linking generation to bring their family together. And these are some visual examples of social development in middle adulthood. This is a chart that shows the different personality traits. For example, openness, which is imagination, feelings, actions, ideas. If you score a low score if you are practical, conventional, prefers routine. You score a high score in openness if you are curious, have a wide range of interests, and are independent. And also grandparents and different things that brings the social, emotional development together. And that's my presentation. Thank you.